and that's 6 months of recovery for any man who had at least 6 months of recovery after that. Everyone accept the speaker should mute themselves so we don't have background noise. Okay? As I said before, I introduce our speaker today. His name is Wayne. Welcome, Wayne.
Thank you. Thank you, Roger, for inviting me to speak here. My name is Wayne, grateful compulsive eating and food addict. And I thank you all for being here to help with my recovery. I've been coming our way for a little over 9 years now. And my abstinence, I've been abstinent since November 21st, 2011. I came in, I was like in the 400-pound range. And right now I'm maintaining well over 150-pound weight loss. I've been maintaining that for close to 8 years, I guess now, about pretty close to it. And but I came in here because I wanted to lose. Thought it was a diet program, and I'm glad it is, because if it was, I wouldn't be here today, because I was no diets. I was ever stuck to a diet. I lost weight on every diet I was on, but I always would gain more than I lost when I decided to have stopped the diet. Just said I have a new way of living, and that's what these steps have taught me. And you people, when I got here, first of all, I was in my cardiologist's office, and I didn't come into the rooms until I was 69 years old. So I'm 78 now, and I can do things today that I couldn't do when I was 38. And I can pick up things off the floor. I can tie my shoes with socks on, which are things I couldn't do for many, many years. And and I was in my cardiologist's office, and he says to me, because I was doing all these things right, and everything is exercise and swimming, and, I was swimming with exercising in a pool and all that stuff, because I couldn't do it on land because of the weight and the toll it took on my knees and the rest of my body. So he says, you're doing all these things right, but you're losing this damn weight. So he says, let me ask you one question. He says, how many people do you know that are over 70 weigh over 300 pounds? And I thought for a little bit, and I said, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. He said, that's all I'm going to say. And he said, I'll be right back. He stepped out of the room and waited outside. I think he just stepped outside, closed the door, and stood there for a couple of minutes, let the seed sprout. And it did. Nobody ever put it to me that way before. So then he came back in and did the rest of our exam. And he told me, basically he told me outright that I'm on the road to death, because at that weight, he says, CPR won't work on you. He's because the fat, when you go to push on it dissipates through the fat. It wouldn't even get to the muscle, your heart muscle. And so on. So it just really scared me. And a seed sprouted. So I went to OA that weekend, and I've been here ever since. And when I got here, and I was so dishonest to myself and everybody else that I actually believed it. That I told him, I said, well, I don't eat that much. Here I'm 400 pounds, and I say I don't eat that much. You're looking at me. He doesn't say nothing, but I'm saying, what a jerk this guy must be. He tells me he doesn't eat much, and he's sitting there at 400 pounds. So I was desperate, and I would do anything I was told, whatever was suggested to me, and then. And the first thing I found out, because I had been going to another program for quite a few years, that just going to meetings, and I wasn't a member of, but I just enjoyed the speakers, and I just enjoyed speaker meetings. So, and I learned through there to do service and everything else. So when I got into these rooms, I decided I wanted to do what really made me other people help them in recovery and that. And you can see the difference in them, the ones that did the service and worked with others, that the way they looked, the way they handled themselves, they smiled, their eyes would shine better, different. And to me, the whole atmosphere was, the persona of a person was totally different than just a regular person that went to just goes to meetings and that. And works the program, obviously, too. So I've been involved now with all facets of service, from meeting levels right up through World Service Business Conference, and over the years, and it's just done so much for my recovery. And working the steps, the steps of the program, the fellowship is here with you fellows, and I need both. And because we're all here, we all come in different shifts. We're all in the same boat. We're all here for the same reason, to get well. we're not bad people. We're sick. We need to get well. And to me, I never realized that eating it was I didn't realize I could get addicted to food. I didn't realize I was addicted to food. But like I said, after working a program, and I found that working through the steps is like the first step. That's why I constantly always have to remind myself. I always say I am a compulsive eater and a food addict, and there's no two ways about it. I have to tell myself that constantly, just so I don't forget it, because I never want to forget that. I never want to go back to where I was. Excuse me. And that's like the higher power now. The God thing was, for me, I didn't want no part of the God that I was raised with, because that was a very punishing, and I was told all through my early years that if I did anything wrong, like either he'd punish me or strike me with a bolt of lightning or something like this. So I want no part of a God like that. So I found a God that was tender, loving, and caring, and that's that I could put my faith in, and give him turn my will and life over to him, because that's what I needed, somebody like that. And I had my first sponsor I had was okay. You know, we worked for a while, but then we outgrew each other. I don't know which one way or the other. But anyways, I ended up with another sponsor, and the sponsor took me through the steps. I did it in 13 weeks because I said I was desperate, and I wanted recovery. And I worked hard at it, but I just worked the steps constantly. It's like I found that to me, steps 1, 2, and 3 gets me right with God, and 4 through 7 gets me right with myself, and then 8 and 9 gets me right with you, with others, and 10, 11, 12 keeps me right with God, myself, and others. So I constantly have to do that. It's like I was worried about the 4th step for quite a while, and I was told that basically looking for all my character defects, which I didn't want to have any longer, obviously, and so now, to me, the 10th step, to me, I needed, like Joe and Charlie says, they needed a walking around step. To me, that's the 10th step. But anytime something's going wrong, if I decided, if I'm feeling weird or start to get angry and all these other things, I said something's going on. So I sit down and do a 10 steps. So what am I doing? We're doing the 10 step. I'm working 4 through 9 and doing all the working steps. So I do my inventory. Then I share with somebody, and like I say, I turn it over, ask him to take it away. So I'm doing 6 and 7, and then if I have to make an amends, I'm doing 8 and 9 again. So to me, it's a constant thing. And then the 11th step, I do that every night before I go to sleep. Excuse me. It's all in the big book that I take everything out of. And in the morning, I start my day off with this, the 11th step also. And I have a list of prayers, a couple of prayers. One of them I made up myself was I just borrowed different parts of different prayers, and I also made it into a gratitude list. And then I do this, the 1st, the 3rd, the 7th, and the 3rd, the 7th, and the 11th step prayers constantly every day. And obviously the serenity prayer. And the other one, to me, one of the biggest things I like is the acceptance prayer. To me, like it says, acceptance is the answer to all my problems. It's not just the one problem that's going on today, but it's all. To me, the key word there is all. And it's just like it is in the 12th step where it says, practice these principles in all my affairs. That means not just here in the rooms. That means everywhere I go, everybody I meet, at home, whatever, at work. Of course, I'm retired now, but I still, I'm out on the road a lot. I help my son a lot. I'm always meeting different people. So to me, I just had to, I have to be honest with people, and I find that too. I don't have to like everybody, but I love everybody, because we're all God's children. And it's like they said, you can move mountains, but bring a shovel with you, and then, because otherwise it's just a shovel at a time. Just like I said, it's one day at a time for me. It's like to me, the person the most abstinent is the one that got up earliest that morning. And any room I'm ever in, it's the same. Like I said, I had a lot of good. I met so many great people in these rooms that. Because when I got here, I hated myself and I hated everybody else, because I didn't like anybody. I just hated life. I never had a life, really. This program gave me a life. I was just existing. because I couldn't do things. I couldn't do anything. I was just so, always constantly in a state of, anger, depression, or whatever, all the above. Until I got here, and then, like I said, working the steps and using the tools and the traditions. To me, the traditions are very important too, because I try to use all the principles constantly, because to me the principles are that's what it says, practice these principles. So to me, it's all part of every step has a principle, and every tradition has a principle, and if I follow those, I'm going to live happy, joyous, and free. That's the other thing I do. First thing every morning when I open my eyes, the first thing I do is I thank God for the gift of another day and the gift of abstinence. and I learned to have serenity is to acceptance. It's one of the biggest things. I have to accept everything. I don't have to like it, but I have to accept it. Just like resentments. I don't have resentments any longer, and I don't hold grudges, and because I learned to forgive. And to me, when I'm forgiving doesn't mean I accept their behavior. That is, I'm forgiving them for me, because now I can turn it over. I'm turning it over to my higher power. He takes over after that, because otherwise I used to have more resentments, and oh God, it was terrible. Today, like I said, if I do an 11 step every night, I can sleep well. I sleep peacefully, and like I said, when I first thing in the morning, I used to sleep many hours when I was used to carry all that weight, because my body was so tired from exhaustion between eating and digesting food and carrying all that extra person around on my back every day. So now I sleep anywhere from 5 to 7 hours a night, and I feel refreshed when I get up in the morning nowadays, because I don't have to carry all that baggage that I was carrying. I say that was my first spiritual experience. I think was when my cardiologist said that to me, and then I had another one. It was like when I first came in, I would never share it in a meeting. I wouldn't raise my hand. I wouldn't say nothing. My mouth was really just sit and listen. Until there was a meeting in our area. Most of the meetings in the area at the time didn't have speaker meetings, and this one meeting did, and it was always on a fifth Sunday. So I went to that meeting, to hear the speaker, and I got there early, which I always try to get to meetings early anyhow, anywhere from 15 minutes to a half an hour. And I'm sitting there. I was actually waiting, because I found out where the room was. I'd never been in that room before. And it was like the 7 o'clock meeting, so 7:15, I'm looking around. I found a room. I said, okay, so I went back to the car. I waited a few more minutes. I went back, and I'm waiting. It's 7 o'clock now. Nobody's there. Nobody shows up. 5 after 7. So I said, oh, maybe it's 7:30. So I went back, checked my schedule. No, it was 7 o'clock. So then all of a sudden, I was ready to drive away, and the light went on in that room that I thought I knew which room it was then. And I walked back in, and there was one woman sitting there. She just got through writing the We Care book, how she was depressed because nobody showed up for the meeting. And so now it was just the two of us. My higher power sent me to that meeting, so I would have to share. And that, to me, that was another experience. It's like I said, I'm not going to sit there for an hour and just stare back at her, and she's not going to stare at me. So I figured I'm going to have to open up. So I did, and I survived. And after that, I decided it wasn't so bad. So then I decided to share. But the next meeting I went to, I wanted to share. So I'm sitting there trying to think of what I wanted to share. And on the way home, I said to myself, what did you hear tonight? Did you hear anything at that meeting? And I said, no, because I was too busy trying to figure out what I was going to say. So then after that, I said, okay, that's it. From now on, I'm not going to try to think. Just like if something strikes me, I'm just going to raise my hand and I'm going to do my share. It's like I said, I find so many things. I went to a retreat up to the Wilson House, and Fred H. was the leader of that retreat, and the theme of the retreat was, it says, is it God or is it odd, or is it, and does it matter? And to me, it doesn't matter today, because there's not coincidences. I have so many things in my life now that comes about that. I'm so grateful for him, everything that he's given me, and I'm also grateful for all the things he's taken away from me, especially the compulsion for eating. just like to me, I think, I know they say about by the ninth step, but to me it happened on the fifth step, where the compulsion, everything just, my desire for all these foods that I used to crave and constantly eat was just relieved. It was just like when I did my fifth step, it seemed like the weight of the world come off my shoulders, and I was able to be free. And like Bill said, you're rocking into the next dimension, and which is I found to be very, very helpful for me. And I find too is like Dr. Bob says, is love and service. To me, the 10, 11, and 12, I live in 10, 11, and 12. And to me, working with others is just like sponsoring. To me, it is most rewarding and most beautiful. Sorry?
Yes, 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. And it is so rewarding because you're watching somebody that grows, they're growing, they don't even know they're doing it, they're changing, they're having their experience and they don't even realize they're having it. And all of a sudden, by the time they see it, the change is so different. There's such a, you become such a different person. And like I said before, it's just love. I love everybody now today. And I'm just so grateful for these rooms and all you people. I think I said already that we all came in different ships. We're all in the same boat. And it's like we're all here to get well. And I find that integrity is the fifth step. Integrity is a principle of that. And to me, is I have to say things that I'm thinking and feeling, and I have to do things do the right things, whether somebody's watching me or not. If nobody sees me, what I'm doing, it's like the other thing I like to do. I like to do things honestly to people, and just like give things away, and make whatever it may be, and do something special for somebody. And it's just like I know I found there's some people there's some things that I couldn't never make amends for because the things were gone and different things. So I end up I find other ways to do it. And just like I find a living amends is one of the strongest, no matter what, is just saying sorry doesn't mean anything. To me, that's just those are empty words, it's the actions. Just like the whole program. To me, it's a thing of actions. It's just like they said, the three frogs sitting on a log. Two says, I'm going to jump in. How many are left? Three, because nobody took an action to do it. It's like this program, I can't, it's like how did I just right away? He told me, I was at a workshop, and the leader was talking about change, and I said this. And so I says, well, what do I have to change? What is the thing? She says, only one thing. I said, what's that? She says, everything. I says, what? She says, everything. I thought I heard her wrong the first time. And then, and it's true. That's what I found. I had to change my thinking, my attitudes, my eating habits, everything my entire life had totally changed. And it's like I was at a dinner party and I was just eating my share, but I wasn't. So somebody said to me, you can never eat that again? There was certain there. I says, yes. I says, there isn't a thing on the face of earth that I can't eat. I can eat anything I want and as much of it as I want if I choose. But I choose not to eat certain foods, and I choose to eat foods to fuel my body, not just for a sport. And I used to joke and laugh when I was early on, before I was in the rooms and that. We used to say, oh yeah, some people eat to live, other people live to eat. I used to live to eat, now I just eat to live. I'm on the other end of that flip of that coin. And I'm very grateful for that. And I think I'm getting pretty close now, so I think I'll close out with, if nobody told you today to love you, I love you all. Thank you for being here to help with my recovery. And I'm done.
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you very much.